What up, African world? It's your boy Home Team here. I'm back at it with another video of African history, culture, and worldview. And today we're going to talk about writing systems in Africa. Now in this video, we're not going to go over every writing system that ever existed on the African continent, but instead we're going to go over probably the most popular and even some that weren't. We're going to start with the earliest writing form that ever existed on a continent and take it from there. So let's begin. So the very first writing form that ever existed on the continent of Africa is what some scholars call Proto-Saharan. Now Proto-Saharan writing was found near southern Egypt, westward of what some would call ancient Nubia. The writing form is believed to have been developed around 5000 BC. Now many people don't know that some of the culture and peopling of Egypt and Nubia actually came from the Sahara. Thus, this writing form, likely from the Sahara region, is believed by some to have influenced many scripts across the continent. The cattle itself, amongst Saharan culture, was a highly venerated and worshipped animal. This Proto-Saharan culture seems to have been a precursor to Nile Valley civilization and perhaps the idea of writing itself. The second oldest writing form on the African continent is the world-renowned Egyptian hieroglyphs. Egyptian writing is believed to have been developed around 3200 BC, which means that Egyptian writing existed way before there was even a unified Egyptian state. Egyptian writing is probably the most important script known to humankind. Now, why is Egyptian writing so important to not only Africa but the world? Well, because Egypt influenced nearly all the major writing forms we know of today. If we follow the trail of influence, it goes like this. Egyptian hieroglyphs were invented, then Egyptian writing derived from Egyptian hieroglyphs. Then Greek writing derived from Phoenician, then Latin was derived from Greek, and these writing forms continue to influence even our own writing form today, English. Any civilization close to Egypt was highly influenced by the idea of writing. Even Arabic was derived from Egyptian. This is one of the many reasons why ancient Egypt is such a celebrated civilization, especially when it comes to the advancement of humanity itself. The next oldest writing form in Africa is called Meroitic script. Meroitic script was invented by the Kushites in around 800 BC. To give you guys a little perspective on the time of the existence of Meroitic, the script was developed around the time Roman civilization was about to begin. Now, Meroitic script seems to be a very unique script in Africa due to its origins alone. It's well known that the Kushites and the Egyptians shared a similar Nile Valley culture, which was somewhat derived from the Sahara, like I mentioned before. The Kushites used to use Egyptian writing, but after some time, the Kushites felt as though the Egyptians were sort of corrupting Nile Valley culture. And this was the reasoning behind King Pi's conquering of Egypt. Many people don't know that the Nubians actually had the first recognizable state in the Nile Valley called Tasseti in 3500 BC that Egypt later absorbed. So perhaps this is one of the reasons why the Kushites felt they had dibs on the culture of the Nile Valley. Eventually the Kushites developed their own script, which we call Meroitic. Now, Meroitic script is very different from Egyptian. This is why today the writing form hasn't really been fully deciphered. Our next writing form is called Ge'ez from Ethiopia. The script is believed to have been developed around 400 BC by Ethiopians and Eritreans. The earliest writing in Ethiopia and Eritrea is believed to have been influenced by Southern Arabian writing forms, but the script later took on its own characteristics. According to the beliefs of the Eritrean Orthodox Church and the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the original form of the Ge'ez was divinely revealed to Hinus as an instrument for codifying the laws, and the present system of vocalization is attributed to a team of Oxumite scholars led by Frumentius, the same missionary said to have converted King Azana to Christianity in the 4th century AD. It's even been argued that the vowel marking pattern of the script reflects a Southern Asian system, such as would have been known by Frumentius. A separate tradition holds that the alphabet was first adapted by Zegdur, a legendary king of the Agazean Sabian dynasty, held to have ruled in Ethiopia around 1300 BC. This writing is one of the oldest writing systems in continuous use anywhere in the world. The next writing form in Africa is called Phoenicic. This writing form is believed to have been developed around 300 BC. It's used today to write many Berber languages. Some have suggested that this writing system was influenced by the much older Proto-Saharan writing, as there are many similarities between the two. Proto-Saharan seems to have been very influential because some believe that it also influenced a writing form called Vai, which was invented by Mande people. Now, Vai is shrouded in controversy as a popular theme presented suggests it was invented in the 19th century. However, Maurice de la Fosse, a French scholar living in Africa studying languages, confirmed what local people had already told him. This was his opinion on the matter. The Vai script is not an imitation of one of other foreign scripts. It is an evolution of an already existing older picture writing indigenous to the Vai people. One of the most intriguing things about writing forms in West Africa in particular was how they used writing. Writing in West Africa was very unique not only to the continent but the world. Writing in West Africa was only developed for religious purposes so that the elite groups and secret societies may communicate with each other. Writing amongst nearly all West African ethnic groups was never intended to be disseminated amongst the general public. For example, the Mande peoples of West Africa, being one of the most dominant groups in the region, had a sort of secret blacksmith society that made weapons, amongst other things. The Mande blacksmiths commonly created amulets with writing on them to convey messages amongst each other. This idea reinforces the fact that most Mande written scripts are secret and intended quite often for spiritual use. Luckily for us today, these writing forms are slowly becoming more known. Ironically, one of the most popular secret writing forms in West Africa is called Sibidi. Sibidi is believed to have been developed in 400 CE in Nigeria amongst the Ikoi people. But the writing form is used amongst other ethnic groups in the region, including the Igbo. There are thousands of Sibidi symbols, of which 500 have been recorded. They were once taught in a school to children. Many of the signs deal with love affairs. Those that deal with warfare and the sacred are kept secret. It is primarily used by the Leopard Secret Society. This writing form was used in judgment cases known in some cross-river communities. Here is a recording in Sibidi writing that documents the particulars of a case. Part A shows the court was held under a tree, as is its custom. Part B shows the parties in the case. Part C shows the chief who judged it, and Part D, his staff. The section in E is a man whispering into the ear of another just outside the circle of those concerned. Part F denotes all the members of the party who won the case. Part G shows two of them embracing. Part H is a man who holds a cloth between his finger and thumbs as a sign of contempt. He does not care for the words spoken. The lines around and twisting mean that the case was a difficult one, which the people of the town could not judge for themselves. So they sent to the surrounding towns to call the wise men from them, and the case was tried and decided. Part K denotes that the case was one of adultery. Our next secret writing form in West Africa was developed by a Songhai secret society of men called the Khumba. They were the traditional master scribes of Songhai society. The actual date of this writing form is not known, but it is said by the Songhai to have been developed in ancient times. As mentioned before, a lot of these secret writing forms in West Africa are beginning to be revealed by African scholars. The following Songhai writing forms have been revealed to us by a Khumba member from the city of Gao in Mali in 2003. These are slowly becoming public knowledge today. Luckily for us, the Khumba kept an early recording of some dialogue between Songhai members of this secret society. We have available for us today 3 short letters written by the Songhai Khumba and their responses. The first one states, "Peace be upon Ndebi. Men and women are greeting you, and the river, the forest, and the Ganges. The cattle, the birds, and the animals are suffering because of the lack of rain." Response letter. "Peace be upon Ndebi. Men and women are greeting you. May the peace of the day and the night be upon you. We must organize the dance. We must sacrifice animal blood and offer it to the Ganges to drink." Letter 2. "Peace be upon Ndebi. The marriage of the couple is not fertile. Work is not good. You must undo the knot. May the Ganges quench their thirst." Response letter. "Peace upon Ndebi. May the marriage be fertile. You have to sacrifice a black cow at night. May joy be upon the man and the woman. You must infuse roots of the dairy. The woman must eat a fish that is about to lay eggs. The work is entrusted to Ndebi. The work is done in 7 days." Letter 3. "Peace be upon Ndebi. An impetuous foreign caiman is in the river. Men, women, and animals are in distress." Response letter. "Peace upon Ndebi. The Tao must go to the river at night to recite the incantation. The impetuous caiman will come out of the river. Joy will come back in the yard of men and women. The village will find its peacefulness." So it seems as though writing in West Africa in particular was used for a completely different reason than any other region. I think it's really impressive that these secret societies within West Africa were able to hold on to their secrets for so long. This is probably why Ajami script was used in West African empires. As Arabic became more popular throughout the region and seemingly open to the public, Africans began modifying it to suit their own indigenous languages, especially in the 14th century in the Mali Empire. It was a script of choice amongst African elites throughout the region and used to write Timbuktu manuscripts. So the continent of Africa has an extensive history of writing and a legacy that literally birthed the idea of writing itself for people outside of Africa. Perhaps when we write today, we can look at it a little differently now. But I'm all out, guys. If you want full-blown access to African history videos and sources to these videos, you can support the Home Team on Patreon. The link is in the description box below. It's your boy, Home Team. Know thyself. Remember your ancestors. Peace.
Higher to higher, man. Smoking the fire and I am way fire than the firefighter, man. These are renegade hours.